Thank you. Okay, e-medication in Switzerland. First, you may have already seen these pictograms. I took them from the WHO documentation they have made recently about the World Patient Safety Day next Saturday. And one of the key aspects in the continuity of care is the question of the medication. What is the medication of the patient? What is she taking now? What is the history? And they identified a few key moments: starting, taking, adding a medication, the review of the medication, what is the patient taking really, and also stopping my medications. And one very important thing when you talk about e-medication is the difference between the clinical view part and the logistical view. In the clinical view, you have the decisions. Like, there's often a confusion when the physician says to the patient, well, I do a prescription, you have to take this medication for 1 week or 2 weeks, and here's the paper. That means two things. First, there's the decision. You have to take this medication for this amount for this duration. And then there is a logistical aspect, which is with this paper or an electronic prescription, you can go to the pharmacy and get the medication and be reimbursed. But it's two things very different. And if we look at the different actions, you have here patient visit, he's prescribed or ordered and prescribed 3 medications. There are, at the next visit, one is stopped, another one is stopped, another one is introduced here, etc. There are a certain number of actions performed at each visit. If you only look at the logistical aspects, the prescriptions and the dispenses, you catch only part of the decisions that were taken. You do not have all the information. And it's very important to have all what is on the layer above too. So the project we started, we already had a prototype more or less 10 years ago on an old platform. The key objective is first the clinical view of the medication. It's really the important thing to have the history of what the patient took, to have the status, the treatment card that the patient can print and put on the fridge, what he has to take when. So history. We also, of course, want to address the logistical aspects, the e-prescription, the dispense, documenting the dispense. It's also very important to document the dispense, because if there is a substitution by the pharmacist, the treatment card or the treatment plan should show the real brand of the box the patient has, and not the original one. Or if the physician prescribed using active substance, the treatment card should show to the patient, well, for this substance, for this order from the physician, you have this box, you have to take a pill from this box. And secondary aspect, documentation of administration. There are a lot of discussion. When are you sure that the medication was administered? If for example, the home nurse puts the pill beside the plate and tells the patient, well, you will have to take it at lunch, is it administration or not? Do we document that as it has been administered or not? So administration is a goal, but for the future. Supporting that also means that you will have multiple sources of information, because you will have the different doctors, the different GPs. The patient may have more than one. He may have a GP, but also specialist. He may have several treatments in parallel, and we want to have global treatment, global medication. So you have inputs from different contributing healthcare providers, also the pharmacist, also the home nurse, if there is a nurse coming, and you have the patient too. The patient has to be able to contribute to his shared medication plan, because he may say, well, this one, I have problems, or I cannot swallow it, or by the way, I'm taking aspirin because I heard that it's good for the blood circulation, and that's important information you should have in the complete medication plan. So the patient is also an actor of his own plan. And this aggregated information is a key information also for medication anamnesis. When you do medication analysis, you should have 2 or 3 sources at least. So the patient is one, but the shared medication plan can be a very valuable second one. Let me go to the next one. Okay. Regarding the context, you have heard certainly from the National Electronic Patient Record that is running in Switzerland now for, let's say, 1-2 years. It's really operational. It's, by the way, the goal of the projectathon on the floor below. So we have, it's a patient-centric electronic patient record. We have multiple interconnected communities. There's 7-8 different communities in Switzerland, but they are interconnected. And we are looking at deep integration of primary systems with the EPR platform, because we know that if the users have several systems to log in, to look at a different thing, oh, for these documents I am connected there, for these other documents I'm connected in other place, it doesn't work. So we're really looking for deep integration. So that's the base context we have here. So nationwide, multiple affinity domain, interoperability, integrability. The EPR platform is based on international standards, on IHE profiles. There are a lot of profiles. We will see if you do the VIP tour this afternoon, we can have a look at the architecture of the EPR and the numerous IHE profiles that are being used. And one goal for our e-medication service is clearly to be as close as possible with the EPR architecture. One reason is also to simplify the integration of primary systems. If they want to add the e-medication aspect, they should not have completely different ways of communicating with the service. So compatibility with the existing interfaces, the ones that are being used in the EPR platform, but also new ones already existing, being developed, all the FHIR aspects, deep integration into primary systems. And we want to have one integrated solution, one shared medication plan for all stakeholders, where they can find all, if they are GP, pharmacists, nurses, or the patient. Regarding these profiles, the way the integration profiles, the Swiss EPR is XDS based. Each community is an XDS community, so it's repository of documents with XDS based interfaces. Shared medication plan, of course, is based on that and based on IHE pharmacy profiles for searching, retrieving, submitting documents. But there is a move towards RESTful interfaces, MHD, mobile access to health document. So we designed, we extended the profiles for the farm profile to support also MHD way of communicating. So we have both ways. For the content, again, IHE Pharmacy had a certain number of content profile, prescription, dispense, medication list. We had to add an additional one. It's the first layer, the clinical part, the decision. We introduced this medication in the plan, and that's the medication treatment plan profile that we introduced 6 years ago. And so we have, in terms of profile, we made a national extension, volume 4, for the content profiles. It's called CDA-CH EMED, which contain all the specificity, like the specific codes for the medication and things like that, some restriction to some optionality. But we also are working with FHIR resources embedded in documents, because the EPR platform is document-based, and we have a CH EMED specification for the e-medication content based on FHIR. And we are developing this, what we call this e-medication primary aggregator. That's the service that will get all contribution to the plan, provide aggregated list, the medication card or history or active prescriptions, all these kind of lists, supporting both methods for accessing, classical XDS SOAP-based or mobile access to health document MHD-based RESTful transaction. Same for documents CDA-based or FHIR resources-based. And we are using and co-developing supporting tools. One is a converter between FHIR and CDA to be able to have clients in one world and clients in the other world, and both see all the information. And Husky also, which is an integration toolkit for using the IHE profiles. So as the conclusion, the project is ongoing. We have tests in the project at on floor below. We are doing tests since 2021 for the e-medication part, integrated with the other EPR test. So we strongly benefited from IHE profiles and from the methodology. We found that MTP, the medication treatment plan, was missing in the concept in the profiles of IHE Pharmacy, so we joined IHE Pharmacy and we developed together the new profile. There are some use cases that were not supported, so we discussed together and we introduced the necessary support for these additional use cases. And different technologies are not exclusive. We can do SOAP and RESTful. We can do CDA and FHIR. It's not an opposition. It's not the old way of doing, the new way. We have to move to the new way and forget about the old way. No, we will have to support both for still many years. Thank you.